The almost champions of the UFC. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean UFC fighters that were just about on the cusp of becoming UFC champions. I've decided to not include interim champions as well, so Colby Covington, um, Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson, they're not going to be on this list. That's too easy for me. That's too easy, okay? That's it. That's too easy, okay? I don't want that. I want the hard route, yeah? But no, today I'm just going to be going over some legendary careers that almost resulted in UFC championships, but just never did. And starting off in the heavyweight division, I'm going to go with Alistair Overeem. I think there was 2 or 3 runs in the UFC that Overeem had that almost culminated in title wins. He has great wins. He debuted knocking out Brock Lesnar with those body shots. He went on a good run, but then he got knocked out by a couple of people like Bigfoot Silva, Travis Brown, and then he rebuilt himself. He went from the Demolition Man. He went from Ubereem into just the Reem, and he became economical Overeem, a mythical fighter. Go look him up. There was Horse Meat Overeem. Yeah, we all remember Horse Meat Overeem when he was like, sometimes I wake up, I have horse meat, and that's what I have for breakfast. He became economical Overeem. He started running, dude. He started running around the octagon. Jab, run, jab, run. He made it all the way to a title shot against Stipe Miocic, dropped Stipe, had him in the guillotine, clearly felt a tap, okay? Really should be the heavyweight champion at this point if we're being serious, but no, honestly, Alistair Overeem is one of my favorite heavyweights. Great kickboxer, very technical for his size. Still doing it to this day in kickboxing, just beat Badahari. Great win for him. And Overeem, I feel like he was just so close. And even before he left the UFC, before he lost to Volkov, he was on a good run, man. I think he was on a 3 or 4 fight winning streak. So I'm really disappointed Overeem didn't get to be the UFC heavyweight champion. But he's one that I definitely consider an almost champion. A guy who was just on the cusp, okay? Moving on to the light heavyweight division. We've got Alexander Gustafsson. Still fighting today. On a bit of a losing streak, unfortunately. But, man, prime Gustafsson. Y'all remember, bro. You guys remember, dude. You guys remember when he took down John Jones. He was the first man to take down John Jones. He always weirdly did better against wrestlers. Like, I remember when he fought DC. He out-wrestled DC, but he got outstruck by DC. It was crazy. Gustafsson had so many close fights with Jones. DC, he had a close fight with Jones. He had a close fight with DC. He lost to Rumble, unfortunately. But otherwise, he beat a lot of the top guys at light heavyweight. There was always a certain type of opponent that he lost to. Not saying anything, you know. Hey, and that happens. But no, Gustafsson was so close to being the UFC light heavyweight champion. I feel like some people gave him that Jones fight. Me personally, I think that was a clear win for Jones, 48-47. It was a close fight, but I think it was a clear win. The DC fight was very close. He almost finished Cormier. Yeah, I feel like in another world, Alexander Gustafsson is the light heavyweight champion. So he's definitely one that I consider like an almost champion in the UFC. A guy who was so close, had such a great career, did so well against the 2 best guys at light heavyweight. In my opinion, the 2 best light heavyweights of all time, DC and John Jones. Alexander Gustafsson gave both of them their toughest tests. And yeah, put some respect on this guy's name, man. He's still fighting. I want to see him come back. I want to see him get a win. Maybe he fights OSP next, or maybe he fights Dominic Reyes. I would love to see Gustafsson get one more win before he retires. Yes, he lost to Anthony Smith, okay? We're not going to talk about it. Moving on to the middleweight division. The GOAT, Chael P. Sonnen, okay? Chael Sonnen was 30 seconds away from beating fucking Anderson Silva, dude. Dude, he was 30 seconds away, okay? Real ones remember, Chael Sonnen came out, whooped Anderson Silva for 4.5 rounds. Okay? This guy was Kamaru Usman before fucking Kamaru Usman was doing it, dude. He was living the Adesanya lifestyle, man. He was up. He thought that if he tapped, he lost the round, okay? How was he supposed to know? You know what I mean? Chael Sonnen was so close. Chael Sonnen was so close. He had Silva beat. He had him dead to rights. Got locked up in a triangle. Yeah, it was a tough loss for Chael Sonnen, and then he lost the rematch, obviously, with that spinning back fist. And then his luck continued when he fought John Jones for the light heavyweight title. Did a great season of tough beforehand. That was a great season. One of the best seasons. Jones broke his toe. And if Chael Sonnen made it to the end of that round, he would have won the fight by TKO and would have become the light heavyweight champion. And handed Jones a loss. Okay, we all know Chael's undefeated. But unfortunately, he didn't capture a UFC championship in his time. Dominating the UFC. And I feel like that's going to... You know, it's going to haunt us for a long time. We all like Chael, man. We all know how good Chael was in his prime. That Anderson Silva performance, God, that was That was just the best, you know. The pre-fight build-up when he was, you know, talking about, you know, steaks medium rare. Even when he had the little belt, man, Chael Sonnen, I think he could have done it. He could have beat Silva. If he cruised that last round, he could have beat Silva. I'm really disappointed this guy never became a champion, but he is definitely my pick for the almost champion of the middleweight division. Okay, moving on to welterweight. I'm gonna go with Demian Maia. I know he lost to the GOAT Bilal Muhammad. Happens to the best of us. But people forget this guy was the boogeyman of welterweight. This guy was finishing everybody, dude. I almost put Carlos Condit as the one on this list. I think an honorable mention in this division would be like Carlos Condit, Colby Covington, those type of guys. Maybe Cerrone as well. But Demian Maia, man. Demian Maia finished Carlos Condit in a round. I remember he finished fucking everybody before he got his Tyron Woodley title fight. You know, not the best fight, but that was not all on him. Some of it was on Woodley as well. You know, Demian Maia lost to only the best guys really at welterweight. Lost to Woodley, Covington, Usman. That's about it really. And Bilal Muhammad, the GOAT, the best welterweight of all time. No shame in that. Fought Anderson Silva as well at middleweight for the title. I think Demian Maia, dude, some things go right, he's the welterweight champion. He was running through that division, man. I feel like no one talks about that. No one remembers how good Demian Maia actually was. They kind of see old man Maia, you know, but god damn, bro. When this dude was running through welterweight, I was worried, dude. I was worried for Woodley. Because this dude, like, I'm telling you, bro, 14 wins by submission. You know what I mean? This guy was good, bro. He finished Chael Sonnen as well. Finished Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen's still undefeated. He was just being nice to Demian Maia. He didn't want to ruin his middleweight streak. But, yeah, Demian Maia is definitely one of the most underrated kind of legacies in the UFC. Great fighter. Could have been a champion, in my opinion. And we're going to move on to the lightweight division. There's so many people to choose at lightweight. But I went no interim champs. I'm going to go with Donald Cerrone. Okay, Cowboy Cerrone. I think he had a title shot at lightweight. He also streaked at welterweight. He got up to #1 contender at welterweight as well. That was a good boost for him. He had one run back in the day to the lightweight title. Didn't win that fight, unfortunately. But then something magical happened. Okay? So Cowboy Cerrone already had a run to the title. Didn't make it. Could have easily done it back in his day. He had all the skills. His kickboxing is fucking awesome. That combo that he had on fucking Tim Story. Oh my god. Or Rick Story, whatever his name is. I don't know. Something like that. Some guy. Horror Story. I remember him. Dude, that finish that he had on him. Jesus Christ, bro. You know, he got it done at welterweight. Got it done at lightweight. Had great runs in both those divisions. I think, you know, certain matchups, if they were there for Cerrone, he could have become a champion. But something magical happened at lightweight in 2019, okay? Alex Hernandez got on the mic and decided to talk shit to this dude, bro. He got on the fucking mic, alright? I liked it at the time. I picked Hernandez, not gonna lie. Hey, I can admit my mistakes. I picked Hernandez. He called out Cerrone, talked that shit on him on the press conference, said he looked like he served 2 terms in the Oval Office. You know, said he looked like an old retired cowboy with a little cap gun. He was getting into some weird shit, that press conference. And then he brought out fucking beast Cerrone, dude. Cerrone came back down to lightweight. He did look fucking old in that weight cut. But he smashed Hernandez, head kicked him, finished him on the ground. Then, goes on. I think he fought Ally Aquinta next. Fought fucking Ally Aquinta or somebody else. Dude, Cowboy Cerrone went on a run at lightweight in 2019, bro. He beat Ally Aquinta up for 5 rounds. Almost finished him multiple times. He fucked up Ally Aquinta. That was an awesome performance. Very underrated performance. Almost forgotten. I feel like no one talks about that fight. No one really talks about Ally Aquinta anymore. Rightfully so. You know, robbery against the GOAT, Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee beat him, in my opinion. Kevin Lee's the GOAT. Ally Aquinta is a footnote in Kevin Lee's career. But anyways, Don Cerrone went on a run. Beat up Ally Aquinta when he was quite highly ranked. And then fought against Tony Ferguson. Dude, he was 1 win away from a title shot. He was 1 win away from a title shot, dude. Cowboy Cerrone was close to the title a lot of times in his UFC career. And I just want to give him his flowers, man. He was a really exciting fighter. He was filling in on short notice all the time. Taking these tough fights. Beating a lot of these guys. You know, Cowboy Cerrone, man. Before he got old, before he got washed. He was that dude. for a long time at lightweight and welterweight. So that's my pick for the almost champion of lightweight. But obviously, honorable mentions. You have to go Gaethje, you have to go Poirier, you have to go Tony Ferguson, because Tony Ferguson was the uncrowned champion at one point. Moving on, featherweight division. I'm gonna go with Chad Money Mendes. All right. You know, I can rest my balls on your forehead. The GOAT, Chad Mendes, on a 0-fight winning streak. He's that guy. But on a real note, Chad Mendes was a fucking beast back in the day, bro. Chad Mendes gave Jose Aldo one of his toughest fights. You know, Prime Aldo one of his toughest fights. Gave Conor McGregor one of his toughest fights. Prime McGregor as well. Had good fights against a lot of the guys at featherweight. Beat a lot of guys at featherweight. You know, lost to only the best, really. Volk, Frankie Edgar, Aldo twice, and McGregor. That's it. That's the only guys he lost to. All UFC champions. So, very good resume for Chad Mendes. Very, very good fighter. He was on the cusp, man. That McGregor fight, he could have won that. He was doing quite well in that fight. You know, if he had beat Frankie Edgar, you know, the Chad Mendes Jose Aldo fight, the one that went to a decision, close fight. A lot of people gave that to Chad Mendes. So, I think Chad Mendes deserves a lot of respect as an almost champion of the UFC. And yeah, he has a great legacy at featherweight. He's one of the best featherweights. So he's one of Volkanovski's best wins. He's one of McGregor's best wins. And yeah, I really like Chad Mendes, man. I wish he was still fighting. But we move on to the bantamweight division. We're going to go with a teammate of Chad Mendes. We're going to go with URIJAH FABER, dude. URIJAH FABER was so close to the title so many times, bro. Oh my god. My computer just heated up when fucking URIJAH FABER came on the screen. Okay, I'm not talking about 2019. We all know what happened. It happens. Okay, this guy's got 27 finishes, dude. That's fucking crazy, bro. Who's getting finished by URIJAH FABER? URIJAH FABER's grappling was nasty, dude. He was great in WEC. He beat Dominic Cruz. He's Dominic Cruz's first loss. He had another fight against Dominic Cruz. Unfortunately, didn't win that one for the UFC title. He almost got to the belt, but Renan Barão was there. TJ Dillashaw was there. Didn't want to fight TJ Dillashaw because they were teammates. Got snaked. There's the little snake in the grass. You lost, little boy. You know, that whole season, that shit was fucking fire season of Tough, by the way. I can't wait for McGregor to go back on Tough. Go check out my video about it. But, dude, URIJAH FABER was so close, man. Renan Barão was there. Dominic Cruz was there. Just wasn't his time. It just wasn't his time. But URIJAH FABER's still one of the best bantamweights of all time. You know, I don't know why it says he's active, but he was one of the best bantamweights of all time, dude. I think URIJAH FABER deserves a lot of respect. I don't think he gets much credit for it. He's a great coach. He's created Song Yadong. He didn't create Song Yadong. He's not Song Yadong's father. I just want to be clear on that. He didn't create Song Yadong, but he's Song Yadong's coach. He runs Team Alpha Male, so they've created champions like Cody Garbrandt, TJ Dillashaw. It's a bit awkward. But yeah, URIJAH FABER, underrated fighter. Was very close to the belt multiple times at bantamweight. He's my first one that came to my mind when I said almost champions of the UFC. URIJAH FABER came to mind. A fucking legend of the game. Love URIJAH FABER. Great fighter. Alright. Moving on to flyweight. I'm going to go with the one that people maybe not know about. Ian McCall. Dude, Ian McCall, okay? Ian McCall, I shit you not, went to a draw with DJ for the original flyweight title. For the first ever flyweight championship fight. It was Ian McCall versus Demetrius Johnson. It was supposed to be a draw. But the judges, I think it went to an extra round. Is what happened. It was kind of like a tough type thing. So there was meant to be a certain amount of rounds. But if it was a draw, then they added another round. But there was a little bit of screwiness with that. And DJ won the belt. So it was a very close fight. Realistically, we could be living in a timeline where Ian McCall is the first flyweight champion. It's not that far off. You know, there was a lot of controversy with that fight. Ian McCall was a tough fight for Mighty Mouse. This was young Mighty Mouse. This was Xbox shirt Mighty Mouse, you know. Who remembers those days? Fucking Mighty Mouse in the Xbox shirt, you know, when he got ragdolled by Dominic Cruz. I digress. My point is, this guy was basically a Dominic Reyes decision away from being the fucking flyweight champion back in the day, okay? I also want to give an honorable mention to Jussier Formiga. He absolutely whooped Davison Figueiredo. I think he's one of his only losses. He whooped Davison Figueiredo. Out-grappled him easily over 3 rounds, so Ian McCall is my pick, but Jussier Formiga deserves some respect as well. But yeah, man, it was really interesting to go back in UFC history and kind of look at these guys that are like almost champions. Obviously, you've got more recent examples like Dominic Reyes. Who else, man? Fuck, I'm sure I'm missing somebody, you know. But there's a lot of guys right now that you know were just there. We're so close, you know. So Let me know what you think down below. Did I get my list right? Is there anyone I missed? Who are your favorite almost champions in UFC history? And yeah, boys, give me your favorite memories of these fighters down below as well. It's good to go down memory lane. Just give some flowers to these guys. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram at Bedtime MMA, and follow me on Twitch, bro. Twitch.tv/Bedtime MMA. We're going to be doing Bedtime FC every month. I build a full pay-per-view. We stream it in UFC 4. That shit was lit last time we did it, okay? Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitch, bro. It's going to be awesome. You do not want to fucking miss it, okay? We've got an awesome card coming. We've got Usman versus Edwards 3. We've got Chimaev versus Whitaker. We've got heaps of fights. We've got Topuria versus Ortega. So we've got a huge card, alright, boys? Make sure you follow me on Twitch. And yeah, make sure you subscribe as well, boys. We're so close to 3K subscribers. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.